Hello students, this video is to give you a feedback from the Play Globally simulation. To access your individual reports, you should download the report and then add your information in the mail I sent you. So let me show you how to do that. So here you should input your schema email, no matter the mail that you entered, you should use your schema email. And then you should use your password. So the password, it will be equal to the four last digits of your MySchema identification. So you pick up the last four digits in the right of your MySchema identification. After checking and validating your answers, you should go to the tab Outputs Performance to check what are your results. Now, in the tab Outputs or Performance, you can check the general results that you really achieved during the period of operation. So, here you have your actual market penetration. Remember that this number that has nothing to do with the numbers that you use in your forecast. Your forecast was just a guess, it's just to check the feasibility of your strategy. In my case, no matter the number that I used, the results that I achieved, it was 0.767% of market penetration. And also the number of average revenue per user, now the actual number. So this represents that no matter the number that I entered, I achieved $28 of average revenue per users. Now I have the number of customers, that's basically the number of population multiplied by the market penetration. And also I have here two additional KPIs. The customer acquisition cost, showing what was my actual customer acquisition cost, and my marketing ROI, my actual marketing ROI. So also we can check here the financial statement. So then we have the market revenues, so the total revenues paid by customers or users over the period. We have the local partners revenue in the case that we entered use with strategic partnership, they get 6% of the total market revenue, and the producers get others 90%. So only 4% of the market revenues become my company revenues. Since in my case all the fixed costs and variable costs now are under the responsibility of the local partner, there is no fixed and variable costs, but in the other cases like subsidiary or acquisition, you should have here fixed and variable costs to operate in the target market. Then we have the gross profit that represents basically a huge percentage margin since I don't have any cost for providing services in the target market. Um, okay, but I have the costs of other decisions that we have in the entry mode, the marketing expenses, the pricing, adaptation, and so on. So when you subtract the gross profit minus the other decisions, we have the EBITDA, so the operational profit, and also we need to pay taxes in the country, indeed in the home country, and subtracting from the operational profit, so the EBITDA, the taxes, now I have my net profit. And this net profit represents a return on sales of minus 300% in my case. Then move to the tab Grades to see the grades that you achieved. In the tab Grades, I can see here the results of my scores in each dimension. So based on the KPIs that I presented before, we can know what will be my grades in each dimension. So the average revenue per user guarantees me a grade of 4 points. The number of customers, 24 points. Market revenues, 12 points. Net profit, 9 points. When we sum up all of these, we have 49 points. Also, I can check here what is my rank in the course in each of these dimensions. So here I'm ranked in the position 246 in all the courses here. And also we have the actual grades in the course. That is basically the conversion that we have when you use these following tabs that we have in the instructions. So remember, so what is the meaning of the score that I have for average revenue per user? So what was my average revenue per user? It was 28. So 28, I will be here in level 2. So it's valued in terms of 2 points. So 2 multiplied by 2, it will equal to 4. The same happens for the other metrics. Let's do another example. The number of customers. I can go here. I have my market penetration. That basically I have 1.8 million. So when I go to the tab 1.8, I'm here level 8. So in the level 8, this metric is values 3 points each level. So 8 multiplied by 3, it will be equal to 24. That is what I have here. So I'm doing that, and then I have the simulation score, and then I go to this tab here. So 48 will be really close to 14. This is the reason why I achieved 13.8 points in the simulation. Now, let's check the main decisions that occurred during the simulation. So most students selected Philippines as one of the targets. Indeed, there are really good and dispersed results for this country. There are companies and students that achieve really good results based on the other decisions, and other teams that are not other students that really don't achieve a really good result here. In the second position, we have Chile, then Indonesia, then Australia, then Argentina, and other countries like here. The decisions, most of students select a subsidiary, others select strategic alliance, and some selected another selected directed sport. Indeed, acquisition was not so common during the simulation. Then we have the decision of the product and communication mode. The most common was communication mode, is the the lower level of adaptation, and the other case it was to adapt both product and the promotion, choose by 27% of the students. Only 7% of the students selected straight extension. In terms of pricing, the most common was penetration pricing, really close to the actual strategy of Hotmart, but some choose to change, like product quality leadership, and others using skimming. In terms of strategy of distribution, most students select to keep the intensive distribution that is really close to what Hotmart tries to achieve, but some try to have something more more special like selective distribution, and some few select exclusive distribution. Finally, in terms of agency type, most students select local agencies to help in operating the target market, and others choose a multinational agency. Home country agency was not so common. Finally, in terms of budget, most students select $6 million of budget, and the majority selected a number higher than 6 million, and just some few students selected a budget lower than this number over here. Now, let's check what happened in terms of operational profit based on the decisions of country and the entry mode. So, as you can observe in this graph, most decisions they lead to some outcomes that leads to loss in terms of profit. Indeed, it's not so easy to achieve profit in just 3 years of operation. But anyway, we can see that some countries they usually have more chance to achieve profit, like for instance Netherlands and Nigeria and Pakistan, and also Poland and Thailand. Australia and Argentina also performed good in these dimensions. And the entry mode, generally speaking, we can say that direct export and the strategic alliance were not good decisions to provide any profit for the company. Subsidiary provided the highest profit in the 3 year of operation, and acquisition does not provide a huge profit. One of the main causes is that acquisition is so costly that when you use this approach, it's hard to have a return on investment in the short period of time. But what's really interesting is that the combination of countries and entry modes is even more relevant. Not only the decision of entry mode will define your performance, but especially if the entry mode fits to the size of the country, to the wealth level of the country, and especially distance in terms of cultural, administrative, geographical, and economical factors. This slide analyzes the intersection of our distribution and pricing decisions. Starting with market penetration, we see that penetration pricing yields the highest results when paired with intensive or selective distribution. However, using penetration pricing with exclusive distribution is ineffective, resulting in a really low market reach. Generally, exclusive distribution provides the lowest level of penetration across all pricing tiers, but it shows an upward trend as we move forward toward product quality leadership. Looking at trends, selective distribution performs exceptionally well when it aligns with product strategy, often bridging the gap between mass reach and premium positioning. Switching our focus to average revenue per user, the correlation is clear. Product quality leadership drives the highest revenue levels, peaking over 265 when paired with exclusive distribution. While intensive and selective models also see revenue growth under the quality-led strategy, penetration pricing consistently results in lower average revenue per user across all the decisions made by students, regardless of the distribution channel chosen. Ultimately, the data suggests that while intensive reach maximizes the footprint of companies, true value growth is unlocked when quality leadership and more specialized distribution are also fitted. Let's analyze what happened in terms of customer acquisition costs. We can say that some countries they achieved high level. Most of them are rich countries where we may expect to have more higher costs to achieve customers, but also where students usually select entry modes and also strategies for pricing that try to achieve customers expecting to have high value in their info products. So countries like South Korea, Finland, Chile, Belgium, Italy are rich countries compared to the majority of the selections that we have in the list. And when you look at the bottom of the values, most of them will talk about poor countries. And in these countries, usually speaking, generally speaking, students also select more mass market solutions, especially with penetration pricing and intensive distribution, and also a more a low level of budget for marketing. Generally speaking, we can say that the marketing ROI for the entire group was negative in minus 106%. Indeed, this was expected given that most students they achieve a negative profit for this period of operation, but some teams achieve really good results. For instance, Netherlands, generally speaking, was the only country where we have positive general marketing ROI in investments. Now, let's check the relation between the marketing budget and the market revenues and operational profit. So first, let's read the graph. We can see that in the horizontal axis we have the marketing budget in millions, and in the vertical axis we have the financial metrics. In the left, the market revenues, and in the right you have the operational profit. So first of all, we can see that once you increase the budget, especially beyond the 6 million value, revenues start growing faster, and below this point there is little change, and the change in terms of revenues is really small, between 1 and 5 million dollars. In terms of operational profit, we have an interesting trend. Indeed, students that selected budget lower than 6 million, they were not able to achieve, generally speaking, any profit at all. But teams that invested more than 7 million, they start having some profit, and the value peak at $9 million of investments, where students achieves the highest average profit compared to the entire group. But students that invested $10 million, they achieve a negative profit, generally speaking. So this represents a really interesting trend that I presented in the instructions, because if the budget is too low, usually you don't have enough money to provide a profit for your business. But if the budget is too high, you may also start losing money. And in the simulation, we observed that based on the decisions that you made. This graph shows the average score, the score distribution for the entire group of students. As we can see, we have one group of top performing students that performed between 55 points and 90 points in the simulation. And some other groups, will have a score around 30. And as you can see, these are students that are performing not that good. And generally speaking, we can say that almost 50% of students, something close to 50% of students achieved at least 60 points in the simulation and in the score. And as you know from the scoring system, this represents the maximum grades in the simulation. Here we can check the grade distribution. As we saw in the previous graph, indeed the majority of the students, close to 80% of students achieved the 15 points in the simulation. That's the maximum. And some other students, they achieve beyond that point, meaning that they achieved some extra grades in the simulation. So for instance, below the number of 10 points in the simulation, that represents really close to 60 or 70% of the grade, we only have like 15% of students achieving that number. So basically the majority of students, they are achieve the maximum, and some few have grades between 10 and 14. Now let's check what were the top performing decisions. Remember, here we're presenting the decisions separately, but indeed what really matters is when you make a conjoint decision and you form all the decisions in a specific combination. So looking separately, we can check that the countries that performed the highest score were Argentina, Australia, Chile, Indonesia, Italy, Netherlands, and Nigeria. And in terms of entry modes, in the first position we have acquisition and then subsidiary. And this is an interesting topic because just some few students, they really have these bold decisions to use acquisition, but those that did achieve one of the highest scores in the simulation. Then product and promotional adaptation. Then we have product adaptation providing the highest score, followed by dual adaptation in this case. Then we have the agency type. The first position achieved by students that used local agency, and the second position multinational agencies. And finally, for the budget, students, generally speaking, that used more than $6 million for budget, they achieved the high performance decisions. As we come to the end of our journey together, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. When making decisions, especially in complex dynamic environments, remember to engage not only with your knowledge, but also with intuition and creativity. Creativity allows you to take what you already know and transform it into something new, something bold. It's not enough to repeat patterns. You must reinvent, reimagine, and take leaps. Intuition, that inner voice shaped by experience and reflection, plays a crucial role. Don't ignore it. Learn to listen. Learn to trust it. But you also need to have confidence and courage to take risks. In any meaningful decision, especially in unfamiliar or international contexts, there is always uncertainty. That's part of the game. But you must not let fear paralyze you. Learn to manage risks, yes, but also be bold enough to move forward even without guarantees, even when you don't have the right data, the right information. You need a certain faith in your preparation, in your judgment, and sometimes just in the process itself. There will never be perfect information, but if you wait for certainty, you'll miss your own moment. So take calculated risks. Trust in your capacity to adapt. Growth requires it. And for sure, never underestimate the value of knowledge, science, and data. Observation matters, patterns matters. Let the data speak with you. Read the results. Read what data is showing you in advance. Interpret it critically and connect it with everything else you know. Knowledge, data and science doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but provides you structure, orientation, and insight. In this sense, the journey into global marketing is both an art and a science. You need all of it: intuition, creativity, courage, and analysis. I hope this course has helped prepare you for this path, and I sincerely wish each of you a brilliant and fulfilling career ahead. May the force be with you. And that's all, folks. Thank you and goodbye.